Hello, I'm Themis Bacchus, Head of Maths at Charles Dickens Primary School and Evidence Leader in Education. Welcome to the first in a series of video guides to the EEF guidance report on improving mathematics in Key Stages 2 and 3. In this video, I will briefly introduce the guidance report and then talk through recommendation 1. Subsequent videos will then focus on the other 7 recommendations. So what is the thinking behind this guide? As stated in the foreword, when it comes to improving maths teaching, it can be difficult to know where to start. How can anyone know which findings are the most secure, reliable and relevant to their school and pupils? So this report offers practical, evidence-based recommendations that are relevant to all pupils, but particularly to those struggling with their maths. It's a starting point for a more evidence-informed approach to teaching maths. The EEF and its partners, such as ourselves, will be producing a range of supporting resources, tools and training to help you implement the recommendations in your classrooms. So what does this guidance actually cover? Well, a consultation suggested that guidance combining Key Stages 2 and 3 could make a big impact, as not only are schools seeking advice on adjusting to a new curriculum, but there is also concern about pupils making a transition between these key stages. Let's go over recommendation 1. Use assessment to build on pupils' existing knowledge and understanding. Assessment should be used not only to track pupils' learning, but also to provide teachers with information about what pupils do and do not know. This should inform the planning of future lessons and the focus of targeted support. Effective feedback will be an important element of teachers' response to assessment. Feedback should be specific and clear, encourage and support further effort and be given sparingly. Teachers not only have to address misconceptions, but also understand why pupils may persist with errors. Knowledge of common misconceptions can be invaluable in planning lessons to address errors before they arise. These recommendations can be broadly split into 2 categories: responding to feedback and addressing misconceptions. Let's look into responding to feedback in a bit more detail. Be specific, accurate and clear. For example, you are now factorizing numbers efficiently by taking out larger factors earlier on rather than your factorizing is getting better. Give feedback sparingly so that it is meaningful. For example, one of the angles you calculated in this problem is incorrect. Can you find which one and correct it? Compare what a pupil is doing right now with what they have done wrong before. For example, your rounding of your final answers is much more accurate than it used to be. Encourage and support further effort by helping pupils identify things that are hard and require extra attention. For example, you need to put extra effort into checking that your final answer makes sense and is a reasonable size. Provide guidance to pupils on how to respond to teachers' comments and give them time to do so, and provide specific guidance on how to improve rather than just telling pupils when they are incorrect. For example, when you are unsure about adding and subtracting numbers, try placing them on a number line rather than your answer should be -3, not 3. Let's look at addressing misconceptions. A misconception is an understanding that leads to a systematic pattern of errors. Often misconceptions are formed when knowledge has been applied outside of the context in which it is useful. For example, the multiplication makes bigger, division makes smaller misconception applies to positive whole numbers greater than 1. However, when subsequent mathematical concepts appear, for example, numbers less than or equal to 1, this conception, extended beyond its useful context, becomes a misconception. It is important that misconceptions are uncovered and addressed rather than sidestepped or ignored. Knowledge of the common errors and misconceptions in mathematics can be invaluable when designing and responding to assessment, as well as for predicting the difficulties learners are likely to encounter in advance. Teachers with knowledge of the common misconceptions can plan lessons to address potential misconceptions before they arise. That's it from me for now. Thanks for watching, and look out for the next video in this series in which we will be looking at the guidance on manipulatives and representations.